Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to match number 4. It is Fnatic Fenix versus Root Kiwikaki in this best of 3 NASL Division number 1. We've talked about these guys in the pregame show. Let's just go ahead and get it started so we can talk about them while the mundane happens. I'm going to kick it off. There's the countdown. Fnatic Fenix, Root Kiwikaki. Oh my god.
Oh my god, indeed. We are starting off with a Terran versus Protoss on Terminus 3. This is going to be featuring, actually, our first Terran versus Protoss of the day. I'm so excited.
Is it our first Terran?
No. Yeah, no. TLO was our first Terran.
He actually blew my mind so much that it was hard calling it even Terran.
However, we can see in the top middle position as the yellow Protoss, we do have Kiwikaki spawn in there, and in the mid right-hand position as the blue Terran, we have Fnatic Fenix.
Yeah, and we talked about this map. This is the big macro map. We've seen some speckles of that. Artosis did offer the above ramp expanding style of play, and we've also seen some super macro builds. We saw Grubby go ahead with the Forge first. Now, we're probably not going to see either of those, as those are not this matchup. PvT, anything is possible. Marine Marauder, very, very potent, very powerful. What are some of the typical stuff you see as a Terran player on this map, in this matchup?
Well, I mean, this map is extremely large, so it does lend itself actually to some good harass because the push distances are quite large. But as the game progresses on, harass actually gets much weaker as you generally expand towards different pushes. So if you expand, excuse me,
I'm gonna kick your grass.
My grass?
Yeah.
What?
I'm just trying to throw you for a loop, man. It's NASL. You never know what to expect.
Whoa. Whoa.
And the next moment, I could have doorknobs or I could not have doorknobs. You don't even know what's going on.
Sir, you are not a power kid. We can see a very, very late gas, though, coming out from Fnatic Fenix. Fenix is getting a 14 gas, so it looks like he might be setting up to do some sort of Reaper play, or I'm not sure exactly, but getting the later gas is indicative of just streamlining your 25 gas and then the 50 gas as soon as the Tech Labs comes up.
Could be perhaps like Marauder Expand. That's something that a lot of people are doing as well. I know that Fenix likes the 1-on-1 type of openings. He loves the Cloaked Banshees. He loves the Hellions. Not necessarily going to be the case on this map. And again, I think that late gas, as you were kind of discussing, would indicate that he's not necessarily going to go that route. I've seen him do a lot of like gas before barracks even type of openings. And there's that Tech Lab. So I think one of the two of us is about to be super awesome and right. I mean, we're both pretty awesome. But whether it be a Marauder or a Reaper, only time will tell. Now the SCV is scouting out that Protoss base. Pretty standard layout here. Nothing too abstract or obscene. One interesting thing to note here is that second gateway going down pretty fast. Typically that's reserved for kind of close positions on smaller maps. If it happens at any time on a bigger map like this, usually it suggests like a 2 or 3 gate expand. But Kiwikaki is capable of anything, and I think Fenix knows that.
Indeed, we can see a lot of Chrono Boost being saved up, actually not being spent right away, actually now just being dumped a little bit into the Warp Gate technology. Now this 2-gate is extremely strong. Actually putting up a third gate, excuse me. So going to 3-gate.
Still one gas though. That's actually peculiar. And if I'm a Terran player and I scout that, I think it's pretty transparent what I'm facing. I think it's pretty obvious it's going to be like a 3-gate expand. I guess it could be a 4-gate, but it'd be kind of weird to do that with the SCV perusing around your base the entire time.
Yeah.
So I feel like this will be an expansion, especially on this map. Now, Fenix, seeing all those gateways, should not be in a hurry to push forward with his meager Marauder count. I feel like we're going to go ahead and see a fast expansion. That's exactly what we do. So this command center is about a third of the way completed. It will be put down before Kiwikaki's expansion. Kiwikaki getting out a pair of Stalkers now. A lot of forces. But his money is clambering upwards of 400 minerals, and that usually indicates an expansion.
Indeed, and we can see these two Marauders are coming out here right now. Oh, actually going to pass by. Oh, a pylon goes down. Really brutal pylon. Oh, and this one sentry might get picked off right here. The SCV might get... No, it isn't going to get it. Oh my goodness. And now the Reaper is going to be able to come in here. Going to be able to damage and kill that one Zealot.
Such a good micro by Kiwikaki. They're pulling back at the right moment, letting that Zealot kind of occupy the Terran player. Now this is a lot of infrastructure for Kiwikaki. He's got 3 Stalkers being warped in right here. This Reaper needs to take his little jetpack and get the hell out of here. And these Marauders are going to get ran down, so very wise to turn around and do any damage at all, actually, because that's his only option. They do not get home safely. Those Stalkers do run them down. Reaper inside the Protoss base, going to go ahead and start plucking away at those probes. He does not get any, though, actually, just kind of unfortunate firing. Stalker does get warped in, is going to pull back. But the real action, ladies and gentlemen, is this Protoss force amassing outside Terran's base, and Fenix does not look prepared. He has one Marauder and one Marine. This bunker... Oh my goodness, his timing could be sick. It does finish right now.
Indeed.
Moving in, picking off those SCVs, and oh my gosh, this could be too much.
Yeah, he's just going to be tanking this. Actually, just targeting all the SCVs. Doesn't have enough DPS to deal with this army. This is such good play by Kiwikaki.
It's going to get willed down. Yeah, that's... a lot of SCVs do go down, though, for Fenix. But, yeah, he's actually down to 16 Harvesters versus the 29 of Kiwikaki. And Kiwikaki expanded behind that actually quite a while ago. It's actually not too far off from completing. And again, these Stalkers doing such good harass, pushing forward. They got to be careful, though. These Marauders do have slow with their concussive shells, and if they trap those Stalkers back, they'll do a lot of damage. Now, a lot of harass in this early portion of the game.
Yeah, we can see, looking on the income tab right now, 18 Harvesters for Fnatic Fenix to root Kiwikaki's 32. So Kiwikaki looking to be in a very, very advantageous position, as he does look like he wants to mobilize yet again. Now going to be targeting out this one SCV. No, it's going to go straight for the units, actually targeting out the Marauders.
Choice.
Wow, and going to be able to take out everything. Now it's just Marines left.
Though.
And going to have to push back because of that really nice micro by Kiwikaki.
And a really good hold by Fenix, actually. If that bunker doesn't finish, he might have seen his life flash before his eyes. Those Marines are very vulnerable outside the bunker, but with it finished, they do a lot of DPS under the protection of that bunker. They're able to thwart off those Stalkers, but the harass is not over just yet. Kiwikaki is actually not finished with his attacking, and here we go, pushing forward yet again. He might actually, just try to pick off that SCV, and it does successfully do so, delaying the completion of that bunker as he warps in more units. His gateway count is still sitting at 3, and he's just now mining off of those 3 bases. Stalkers do push forward, a couple do die, and the slowing does kick in there, losing a second Stalker in the retreat. So I feel like the weight of his aggression is actually starting to push back against him. Now here's the thing, Fenix is about to get out a pair of medevacs, and those medevacs are super strong against gateway units. That actually makes them both able to drop and repair the units that they're fighting underneath, that are fighting underneath. Yeah,
medevacs are going to give him a lot of ability to do like counter pressure and counter behind, and also win straight up battles. Medevacs are really, really nice at retaining a huge amount of units, and it's going to prove to give him the mobility that he needs, as he's currently contained. Oh no.
For Kiwikaki, I mean, he's got a push coming out right now.
Oh, and he actually salvaged the bunker.
Oh, and nice push up by Fenix, taking a good angle. Medevac's sitting back on this kind of larger ramp. Good micro, just kind of shuffling backwards. But Kiwikaki forcing down on top. But those Marines have such high DPS. And this is trouble for Kiwikaki. Fenix now pushing out. Big stem. Looking to pursue. One Stalker does get ensnared by that concussive shell, and a sentry does as well. So this pylon will go down if Fenix should choose to look for it. Looks like he might not opt to do as much. Now, Kiwikaki just now adding a 4th and 5th gateway and a robo facility, so he's actually drastically behind in terms of production, and I would say it's showing. His money is floating upwards of 500 minerals. He's having a tough time spending this.
Indeed, and we can see a drop coming back in the base for Fenix. Fenix is going to be attacking this huge main, and Stalkers are not... Oh, they actually are put in position right now. Stalkers are going to be able to get there, intercept this one medevac. It does look like the medevac is going to go down, not before taking out a couple of these Stalkers, though. 2 Stalkers do go down. I think that's
a really good exchange for Kiwikaki. I mean, he got the medevac, focused it down immediately. That was the exact right choice. And honestly, Fenix cannot afford to shuffle out segments of his army that way. Medevac's extremely crucial in the early portion of this game, as well as the DPS of those Marines. And I feel like by having that drop smash as hard as it was, he doesn't have the ability to both attack the front and back of the Protoss player, at least for the time being right now.
Indeed, and we see Kiwikaki is just massing up right now. He is at a really comfortable position. If we look, 58 Harvesters to 34 SCVs for Fenix. Fenix gearing up to go ahead and drop yet again, and Kiwikaki a little bit out of position His Stalkers are not where they need to be, and I think Fenix is going to look like he wants to go and pressure in.
How does he know? There's no observer in the Protoss base. And here we go. Drop going to happen at the same time. Okay, actually it's a little bit staggered, and I like that choice. Stimming forward at the Marauders. That triggers a reaction from the Protoss. His full army pushing around to the front, opening up the backside for Fenix's double medevac drop. 4 Marauders and 8 Marines touching down, and that is a lot of damage. It's a very mobile army. And Kiwikaki might be coming in out of position. Here we go, trying to warp in on top of that. Meanwhile, at the front of the base, oh my gosh, Fenix is everywhere at once, and again, at the back of the base, he's winning that fight as well. This could be it for Kiwikaki. His options are starting to dwindle. Picks up those Marauders and moves them to the back of the force field, zoning out those Zealots. Beautiful choice by Fnatic Fenix.
And still, the drop in the main is alive and kicking. Still a ton of kills on all of these Marines and Marauders. Looks like he's going to be able to sweep up Kiwikaki on both sides. Holy guacamole, sir.
Yeah, and I think actually, okay, so now a big warp in from Kiwikaki. He will be able to hold off both these attacks. Wants to get that medevac.
On time? Yes, he will.
He will get away. But oh my goodness, Fnatic Fenix is actually able to. I don't want to call a victory on both sides, but I certainly think the value of that attack, even at the natural, was worth its weight in gold.
Indeed. Well, we went from 60 Harvesters for Kiwikaki to 27. He's right now at 28 and just trying his best to get as much as possible. Again, these drops are so persistent and now going to be able to take out.
Those Stalkers are not paired well against those Marauders. They get chewed through a little bit, and then a push at the front, and I think that's too much. Retorp, I think this could, well, okay.
No, there
excellent force downs, and more units are trickling in, and they do hold.
And
Sentry goes down.
Not looking good in this main, in the front. He is being harassed quite a bit, and just trickling units in. Stalkers are not good just alone. Again, the efficiency for these medevacs are really nice. Now going to be able to micro all these Zealots, pick off the really, really important sentries and Stalkers. And Kiwikaki is on the back foot. GG coming out from Kiwikaki.
And I mean, both these players are fantastic. But I gotta say, everyone looking at this series would probably say Kiwikaki wins it. And at least in this first game, Fenix, he didn't just like cheese. That was not a cheese win. That was not a gimmicky win. He actually outplayed Kiwikaki.
I couldn't agree more. Kiwikaki just was torn between where to go. I think he lost way too much in that early game. Kiwikaki was just trying to do a little bit too much than he needed to. And because of that, he had less units to cover a huge amount of area. And as I was saying before, Terminus Re, a great map for harass, because it is very far positions. And because his air control was there, he was able to drop, he was able to push in the front, he was able to do a lot of really cute techniques. And ultimately, Fenix's harass and his multitasking won him that game.
And I'll tell you, it was an interesting moment to see, especially for me as a Protoss player, where with that 3-gate kind of expand harass style that Kiwikaki loves to opt for, there's a moment where it feels like the Terran can collapse at any second. Like we were definitely like, oh no, if that bunker doesn't finish, or focusing down the Marauders so well. But the second those medevacs came out,
it was night and day, sir.
Never have I seen a more passive but badass units. Like,
I know.
Don't worry, we got this. We bring you mobility, we add tenacity to your units, and we are just going to floor those gateway units. And he did produce a Colossus, but honestly, I don't think, I mean, maybe even cancel it, because I never saw it.
No, I didn't see any of it.
I think if it got focused down or he canceled, I'm not sure, or if it just had to go to a picnic somewhere else.
Yeah. That's why, if you ever see my games, I get about 100 medevacs.
They're pretty good.
I love them.
It's actually funny. I tease this kid all the time.
And 100 SCVs.
Yeah, he has like a personal medevac for every unit.
That's 300 supply, but okay. 100 medevacs.
He has a lot of medevacs, like one for every Marauder, and they're good. Like
they're a pretty decent unit.
If you can't do that burst damage where it just kills the units instantly, then they're going to stick around.
They're LOL. Indeed.
He's getting to game number 2.
Indeed. So let's go ahead. We have it all set up, and we're ready to go.
Let's go ahead and start out on the countdown. We're going to get into match number 2. The map is Crossfire SE. This is game number 2 of this best of 3 between Root Kiwikaki and Fnatic Fenix.
Yes, a Terran versus Protoss on Crossfire. Again, very short distances. Well, semi-short distance, but they know where each other are. They know where each other are. Yeah. That's the big thing that is going to be a lot different, a lot more different than normal maps. But we can see in the top right-hand corner, as the red Terran, we have Fnatic, Fenix, and in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have, in the blue Protoss, Root Kiwikaki.
As Total Biscuit would say, a fantastic commentary. You guys should all check him out. In the blue trunks. So my heart goes out to you, Total Biscuit. That's my little, what do you call it? Tip of the hat?
Tip the hat, wag of the finger.
Hat. Not quite sure what that last one means, but hats off to you, Total Biscuit. You're here in spirit. Now, we had talked about how this in these positions on this map, because you know where they spawn, it makes for kind of gimmicky play capable.
Yes.
Kiwikaki's down 0-1, and I feel like he would be the guy to do it. So I like, I mean, of course, it's only the first pylon, but I like what we've seen thus far, and that is a pylon inside his base.
Love pylons inside bases.
Well, I just don't want to take a huge risk and then lose the game off of like a walling off Terran or something like that.
Definitely. I mean, Kiwikaki is a very standard, quote-unquote, standard player, but he is innovative.
Oh my god, what did you
He doesn't
say?
like to...
He's a very standard player?
Yeah. He's innovative, but he doesn't cheese, bruh.
You are like a Dr. Seuss of bad logic.
Come at me, bruh.
Yeah.
Come at me.
I'm gonna...
No, I am absolutely correct. He's not a cheeser, bruh.
I'm not saying he's a cheeser, but to call him standard is weird.
Well, I meant standard in that he doesn't cheese.
Okay.
Hey. Hey, you shut your mouth.
That'll make commentating really difficult. Everything seems pretty normal thus far. Joking banter aside between the two blood brothers, that is Greetorp and In Control, speaking in the third person, evidently. Yeah, I'm not, you know, okay, to this point, though, Kiwikaki is standard in the sense that he doesn't only do gimmicky, off-the-wall kind of play. Like, that's what he's known for. People talk about his mothership. They talk about the Immortal Zealot, like, elevation drop he did against Idra. He is pretty famous for his intuitive and creative play, but most people that practice with him would describe him as a guy that does the standard play better than most. It's I think that's the point you were kind of trying to get at. He is not considered a cheesy player by anyone. No one says Kiwikaki's a cheesy player. But the thing that makes him so dangerous is he's capable of it.
Indeed, and again, Fenix actually going a 16 orbital command center. He did that last game, oddly enough, and he's going to do it yet again, actually pulling 2 of his SCVs off of the refinery. And I'm not sure what he's set up to do just yet. He might be throwing down a command center or might be throwing down a factory.
He's got a lot of resource. That's got to be a command center. 400 minerals? There it is. Yep. Okay, so a pretty fast command center. And actually, it looks kind of like Kiwikaki's shaping up to do the exact same thing that he did last game.
Yeah, indeed.
Everything about this looks like it.
And I like this. He actually walls off like half of his buildings.
There's a second gas. Never mind.
LOL.
Yeah, that's really good against the Blue Flame Hellion. If that drop gets in there, if they somehow run past the Structural Rocks later in the game or something like that, this adds a little bit of a deterrent. It does make drop play a little bit sketchy, which is kind of dangerous, but again, this is on the furthest reaches of the map.
Exactly.
For a drop to get behind these minerals would be quite wanky. I mean, it is possible, obviously, but it'd be quite a peculiar drop. What I really like about Kiwikaki is his map presence. We do have that pylon going down at the tower, the top left tower, I guess we can call it. It's the forward tower. This is the one that's close to the Terran player. But he's also fighting for control of that other tower as well, with just a Zealot and a Sentry making their way across the middle of the map. This time around, Fenix is not going to mess around. We already have a bunker. It will be completed. Actually, a pretty quick factory. So a super fast expansion. Oh, you know what? Okay, here it is. Double reactor and a factory with a tech lab going down on this. This is something we've been seeing out of Korea. This is Marine Tank.
Yeah.
This is madness.
Marine Tank is pretty strong, and I like this. Fenix actually getting ready with 2 SCVs. Going to be up here defending for his bunker. The bunker just finishes in perfect time, actually. And now going to be able to... Ooh, actually goes into this.
He's going up.
Looks like he wants to actually engage against his bunker.
Oh my gosh.
One stalker is going to go down, and it looks like the bunker is going to be repaired in time. Really nice play by Fenix.
And the second that Guardian Shield goes down, you can see how strong it is. It felt like the units underneath it were almost invincible for the time being, but the second it goes away, boom, there goes a stalker. And this is actually a really nice little Tesla run. I was thinking about doing the same kind of build against Ensnare in my matchup coming up here.
Ooh.
But looking at this, I don't really like it. I think we're going to see the same kind of problems with Kiwikaki that he had last game, and that is that, sure, he did a little bit of harass. Yes, he's getting a pretty fast expansion, but he's behind in tech. The Robo is about a third of the way done just now. Third gateway is being added. But Fenix already churning out those tanks. Siege mode doesn't need to be started just yet, and lots of Marines coming out.
Yeah, now, the Marine tank is extremely strong against gateway units for as long as time doesn't go on too much, or you need your siege mode. The biggest thing is that you have to deal with the force fields that come out. If you don't have a way to deal with the force fields, then you're going to be in a huge amount of trouble. Whereas the Protoss, they need to be worried about, how do I deal with this Marine DPS, man?
Yes. But the force field, I mean, that's an excellent point, though. If you look kind of throughout this map, there's little ramps like this, and then everywhere you go, there's little choke points. This is a very tight map. It's very corridor-based. A lot of ramps, a lot of tight choke areas. So if Kiwikaki, and here he does see this army moving out with that tower. Actually, it's not really a move out, though. I'm guessing it's just going to go snipe this tower, and there we go. It's a very nice play by Fenix. A little bit... Well, you know, I was about to say it's risky, but honestly, he has an SCV in front of that force, so he knew that the Protoss was not kind of lurking around outside. So I like that. I mean, both these players playing exceptionally well, and here we go. The tanks are going to add up with those Marines. A couple of SCVs are being pulled off that mineral line to join up, presumably for repairing purposes. And it looks like, actually, Kiwikaki... Oh, my God, he's such a lip. He's so lucky. Such a good... I mean, luck follows the good, so he's getting that information just through his own...
Indeed.
No, I don't want to take credit away from him. He did an awesome job.
Siege mode is just about finished right now,
there it is.
And Fenix critically getting into the most advantageous position possible. And now, ooh, really nice force field going down.
But he has no DPS, though, to follow it up.
Absolutely not. And because these siege tanks are actually sheltered right now from the individual force fields, so this is looking really good for Fenix.
And he's already in position. I mean, Kiwikaki doing the best he can, pulling his probes already. But now he will be down a base, and Fenix is just going to go ahead and entrench himself. Look at these bunkers going up. Tanks aren't even unsieging. And look at how safe Fenix is playing. This is brilliant. Unsieging 2 of the 3 tanks, pushing forward, not really aggressively, because he doesn't need to. He knows he's up a base right now. In fact, I would say that choice right there was even too aggressive. He needs to pull back just a little bit. But how can Kiwikaki respond? He's adding another gateway. He's got Immortals coming out. A Warp Prism is being produced, so his idea here is to try to kind of perhaps keep the Terran at bay and then just expand elsewhere by dropping probes around. He does have pylons on the map. A pylon, excuse me, and a probe, so he does have the ability to harass outside of here, but hold that thought. Fenix might force himself up this ramp. The Marines are positioned up here, and if he does get up this ramp, it's certain doom for the Protoss player.
Indeed, all he needs to do is start making bunkers here. He's repositioning all of his tanks to be in extremely good position. However, the Immortals are on top, and he needs to be careful because Immortals only receive 10 damage from a siege tank for the shields, so they can go down extremely fast. Oh, actually, an Immortal looks like it's going to go down. Huge pickoff.
That's bad. Every Immortal is so expensive for the Protoss player in this position. He just simply cannot afford to lose any.
And Kiwikaki actually doing a lot of good harass. Now we have in the natural base with that pylon in the top middle, he's going to be able to harass these this individual expansion quite nicely.
Yeah, he does pull the SCVs off of that. He is now going to battle with the tank. My problem with that is that now Fenix knows, okay, there's some kind of production going on outside of his base. So all he has to do is set up kind of some static defense to make sure he still brings in money.
Yeah.
And I feel like Kiwikaki will be in trouble. And here we go. He's pushing forward just ever so slightly. Medevac elevating a few Marines up there. Tanks are crawling forward, and bunkers going down above that ramp. That pylon that allowed for the proxy zealot play is going to collapse. And here we go. Kiwikaki pushing forward, but those zealots are stacking on top of themselves, taking a lot of damage from those siege tanks, and not a lot up there to kill. Oh my goodness, Immortals do get dropped onto the low ground, and they are able to but those Marines, and nice pickup by the Warp Prism, but that's...
Wow.
How did he do that?
Kiwikaki actually with brilliant micro, going to be able to push out of this contain. Oh my god! Again, such brilliant play by Kiwikaki. He was able to actually drop the 2 Immortals onto the tanks and just target them down. They only require 4 shots to kill a tank, so killing those tanks are pretty huge, and now the counterattack is on. However, there are a ton of Marines, and I don't know if Kiwikaki has a response, or excuse me, if Kiwikaki is going to be able to push onto this
He
position.
can't. No, there's no way. I mean, the Marine just does so well against the gateway unit, especially when paired with a medevac. If he had, I mean, he might be able to defend. Like, I would like him to throw down a couple of sentries and then just go Colossus. But I understand his logic. I mean, he lost that base. He's been behind for a while now. Oop, bad rally point by Fenix. And that will get punished. Yes, okay, so the medevac does go down. And Kiwikaki's got to know that. He's looking at this.
Yeah.
He does have an observer in front of the Terran base. Now, did he see that, actually? A medevac loading up with 6 Marines. I mean, that is one way to claw back into this. If Fenix wants to go ahead and donate pockets of his army, it is possible for Kiwikaki to pull back. Now, Kiwikaki's almost mined out of his main. He is sitting on a good harvester count at 46. We will be able to instantly fully saturate this main base. And what is this? What are these Marines doing in the middle of the map?
Not sure, just trying to get this Xel'Naga tower, but look back in Kiwikaki's base. He's double teching. He has a Robo Bay up already and a Dark Shrine coming out.
He has a Dark Shrine as well. Wow. That's a really good choice. Like, okay, so he did see that drop. He's actually positioned himself to handle it both in his main and his natural. And missile treads are going down for Fnatic Fenix, so I gotta believe he saw the Dark Shrine. Let's go ahead and check to make sure. No, he did not. He has no idea.
But there is a huge Warp Prism coming up in the top middle position, and it's going to go ahead and spot down right there. Going to be warping in Dark Templars momentarily. Nope, he's not going to.
Well, look at this. The push is coming out, and Kiwikaki might be able to catch it. If he can delay this with DTs in his army and warp in DTs, so a couple things to watch here, folks. There is a Warp Prism in the top left-hand corner. And a bit of an attack going on here. Fenix trying to get up that ramp as best he can. It looks like he will be successful in that event. DT does push forward. Does it go after the tank? Oh, nice scan by Fenix. But his base is in shambles. DT is at the mineral line. Meanwhile, a drop behind Kiwikaki's base. DT is already there to clean that up.
Unbelievable.
It's going to come down to production. Kiwikaki does not have enough gas. He's not mining from his natural. So his DT production is suffering greatly. Colossus needs to thin out that bio. Big force fields going down. They're trapped. They're trapped in the force fields.
But there are still a lot of tanks behind there. A turret is set up. Now Dark Templar tries to get into position, but is not going to be able to. And keep in mind, the main is just got cleared up by some
There's no more
Marauders.
support. He's got 2 Marauders protecting all those tanks. There's 4 tanks over there left vulnerable. Fenix is now bringing in more bile, and it looks like he might just be able to outlast Kiwikaki. The top left is being taken. Without that gas, he's not able to produce DTs.
We're going to push in right here. Dark Templar is going to get up, but not going to be able to do anything whatsoever. Immortal is now shelling away on these. Oh, huge pickoff.
And just like that, the Protoss army disappears under the weight of that Terran force with that +1 armor. A fantastic upgrade right now because Kiwikaki cannot afford any upgrades. His DTs have been vanquished from the map. That War Prism still does stand up there, but just simply can't afford to sustain more units out of that. And there's the GG. Fnatic Fenix taking it 2-0.
Very convincingly. I mean, he got a huge advantage in that beginning, able to parry the first initial attack by Kiwikaki, and then off of that counterattack with a beautiful double barracks reactor type play with the tanks, able to deny that expansion and ultimately retain his win. Now, Kiwikaki did the #1 things to get back in the game. You do the guerrilla warfare, the constant attacks everywhere, harassing and making sure that you're trying to slow down that push from coming. He was unavailed and was taken down, though, and Fenix was able to get that huge, monstrous push.
It's hard to call him a loser, though, because even just busting that tank bunker line in front of his natural, like,
ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I could never do that. I could not do what he just did. And he did it, he pushed forward, and he made the right read, too, because a lot of players who are that far behind would say, well, I got to attack.
Yeah.
I just killed his whole blockade, I've got to attack. And he didn't because it would have been the wrong choice. And for a moment there, when he froze that bio in, I thought he had a chance, but not being able to mine the gas from his natural and sustain the DT production, I feel like it lost him the game. I mean, I don't know that that was a mistake.
Definitely tough.
Because he needed the minerals, but tough.